Chapter 22. The spectators gathered Monday morning for the final drama. The jurors arrived with solemn faces, determined to finish the job. The lawyers wore their finest suits and appeared fresh and eager to get their verdict. The defendant himself looked rested, confident. The clerks and bailiffs hustled about with their usual early morning energy. But when they grew still at 10 minutes after 9 a.m., the courtroom seemed to inhale and wait. Everyone stood when Judge Gantry entered, his black robe flowing behind. He said, "Please be seated," and did not smile. He was not happy. He seemed very tired. He looked around the courtroom, nodded at his court reporter, acknowledged his jury, noticed the crowd, and in the particular looked at the third row, right side. There was Theo Boone, wedged between his father and his uncle, absent from school, at least for the moment. Judge Gantry looked at Theo, and their eyes locked. Then he leaned down a few inches closer to the microphone. He cleared his throat and began to deliver the words no one had expected. "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. At this point of the trial, Mr. Peter Duffy, we are scheduled to hear the closing arguments from the lawyers. However, this will not happen. For reasons that I will not explain at this moment, I am declaring a mistrial." There were gasps, jolts, shocked expressions from all corners of the courtroom. Theo was watching Pete Duffy, whose jaw dropped to his chest as he turned to Clifford Nance. The lawyers on both sides appeared to have been hit between the eyes, all staggering as they tried to understand what they had just heard. On the front row, directly behind the defense table, Omar Cheap turned and looked straight at Theo, 2 rows back. He didn't stare, didn't look particularly menacing, but his timing said it all. "You did this, I know it, and I'm not finished." The jurors are all not sure what would happen next, so Judge Gantry explained it to them. He turned, looked at them, and said, "Members of the jury, a mistrial means that the trial is over. The charges against Mr. Peter Duffy are dismissed, but only for the moment. The charges will be filed again, and there will be another trial in the very near future, but with a different jury. In any criminal trial, the judge has the absolute discretion to declare a mistrial when he or she believes that something has happened that might adversely affect the final verdict. Such is the case now. I thank you for your service. You are important to our judicial system. You are now excused." The jurors were thoroughly bewildered, but some were beginning to understand that their civic duty was over. A bailiff herded them through the side door. As they shuffled out, Theo watched and admired Judge Gantry. At that moment, Theo, decided that he wanted to be a great judge, just like his hero up on the bench. A judge who knew the laws inside and out and believed in fairness, but more importantly, a judge who could make the tough decision. "Told you so," Ike whispered. Ike had been convinced that a mistrial would be declared, but then so had the rest of the Boone law firm. The jurors left, but no one else moved. They were stunned and wanted more information. At the time, Judge Hogan and Clifford Nance rose slowly and looked up at Judge Gantry. Before either could speak, he said, "Gentlemen, I will not explain my actions at this time. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., we will meet in my office and I will state my reasons. I want the charges refiled as soon as possible. I will schedule the retrial for the 3rd week in June. The defendant will remain free on bond with the same restrictions. Court is adjourned." He slapped his gavel on the bench, stood, and then vanished. With the judge and jury gone, there wasn't much left to do. The crowd slowly climbed to its feet and headed for the door. "Get to school," Mr. Boone said sternly to Theo. Outside the courthouse, Theo unchained his bike. "You stopping by this afternoon?" Ike asked. "Sure," Theo said. "It's Monday. We need to debrief. It's been a long week." "Sure has." Not far away, the front entrance, there was a noise and a rush of people trying to get out of the courthouse. Pete Duffy, surrounded by his lawyers and others, hustled away with a couple reporters yelling questions at them. The questions were not answered. Omar Cheap brought up the rear and actually shoved one of the reporters. He was about to take off with his client, then he noticed Theo, straddling his bike, watching the drama with Ike. Cheap froze and for a split second seemed undecided about what to do. Should he hurry and protect Mr. Duffy, or should he walk over to Theo and utter a vile threat or two? Theo and Cheap stared at each other, 50 feet apart. Then Cheap turned and scampered away. Ike seemed not to notice this exchange. Theo hurried away too. He headed for school, and once the courthouse was far behind him, he began to relax. He found it difficult to believe that it was Monday. So much had happened in the past 7 days. The biggest trial in town's history had come and gone, yet it wasn't over. Thanks to Theo, a bad verdict had been avoided. Justice had been preserved, at least for the time being. He would take a break from his duties, but before long, he would be meeting secretly with Bobby, Escobar, and Julio. No doubt about it. Theo would be in charge of coaching Bobby, preparing him for the 3 hours he would spend on the witness stand come June. Now Omar the creep was complicating things. How much did he and his client and Clifford Nance really know? Questions. Theo was puzzled, but he was already excited. Then he thought of April. Tomorrow, Tuesday, the judge would issue a ruling that would require her to live with one parent or the other. Her presence would not be required in the court, but she was a wreck anyway. Theo needed to spend some time with her. He decided that they would sneak away at lunch and talk about things. And he thought about Woody, whose brother was in jail and unlikely to stay there. He parked his bike at the flagpole and walked to school halfway through the first period. He had a written excuse from his mother, and he handed it over to Miss Gloria in front office. He noticed over to Miss Gloria in the front office. He noticed that she wasn't smiling. She always smiled. "Have a seat, Theo," she said, nodding to the wooden chair beside her desk. But why? Theo wondered. It was a simple matter of being tardy. "How's the funeral?" she asked, still unsmiling. A pause, as Theo tried to understand. "I'm sorry. The funeral last Friday, the one your uncle came here." "Oh, that funeral. It was great. A real blast." She looked around nervously, then tapped her lips with an index finger. "Please talk softly," she was saying. There were open office doors nearby. "Theo," she almost whispered, "my brother was stopped last night for driving under the influence. They took him to jail." She rolled her eyes around to make sure that they were alone. "I'm sorry," Theo said. He knew where this is going. He's not a drunk. He's a grown man with a wife and kids and a good job. He's never been in trouble, and we don't know what to do." "What was his BAC?" "What? His blood alcohol content." "Oh, that. Does .09 sound right?" "Yes. The limit is .08, so he's in trouble. First offense?" "Why, heavens, yes, Theo. He's not a drunk. He barely had 2 glasses of wine." 2 drinks. Always 2 drinks. Regardless of how drunk or how sloppy or how belligerent, they never had more than 2 drinks. The policeman said he could get 10 days in jail. She went on. "This is so embarrassing." "Which cop?" Theo asked. "How am I supposed to know that? Some of the cops like to scare people. Your brother will not get 10 days. He'll pay a fine of $600, lose his license for 6 months, go to driving school, and a year from now his record can be expunged." "Did he spend the entire night in jail?" "Yes, I can't imagine." "Then there's no more jail time. Write down his name." She was already holding a pen. "Taylor Baskin," Theo said. He's the lawyer who handles all the drunks." "He's not a drunk," she said, a bit too loud. Both looked around to see if anyone was listening. No one. Sorry. Taylor Best, the drunk driving lawyer. Your brother needs to call him. Miss Gloria was scribbling away. I need to get to class, Theo said. Thank you, Theo. Please don't tell anyone. No problem. Can I go now? Oh, yes, please, and thanks, Theo. He scampered off to out of the office, leaving behind another satisfied client. And that's the end book. Few final words. This is actually a very good, book, and I enjoyed reading it for you guys. And I want to apologize for the delay that I had, but it was because I had moved, and I didn't record because I didn't have my computer. Like, my computer died during the move, so I don't have my editing software. So, but hopefully I will have these uploaded. Obviously it's already been uploaded already, but as of me recording, just speaking now, I hope it's, to get them uploaded soon. It's just because, I'm trying to get my, thumbnails from, my hard drive. So, I should have that up soon. I had to order the USB cord to get them off because I can't find my USB cord for it. But I will be doing the next book very soon. Probably not immediately, but maybe a week or two or so. Sometime maybe in the summer, maybe maybe in the fall, because my daughter will be out of school in summer, and I record when she is in school. So I'll try to think of a schedule, what to do, and and try to upload again. But I hope you enjoyed my reading of this book. It's, like I said, it's been so fun. I love Theodore Boone. John Grisham is a very good author. And this is my favorite series that I've ever read. It's a bit of a guilty pleasure because I'm an adult reading, a book that's meant for, preteens and stuff. But, no shame in that, I guess. But, yeah. I hope you all have a good day, and I'll get to, soon enough. All right, till the next time. Bye.